Hello everyone. Again, we are here to discuss about some regulations regarding auditing. That is professional ethics of an auditor and standards on auditing. So, what about professional ethics of an auditor? The word ethics means a set of moral principles or moral philosophy and standards of conduct. It involves all standards of behavior. Professional ethics refer to the behavior of a professional person towards other member of their profession in particular and towards members of the public in general. As far as concerned, IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, is of the opinion that an essential prerequisite for any group of such persons, professional accountants, is the acceptance and observance of professional ethical standards regulating their relationship with clients, employees, employers, fellow members of the group and the public generally. Professional ethics of an auditor. Also, when we talk about the emphasis of the IFAC, then we find that principles of professional accountants emphasize on the some following elements, that is integrity. Integrity means should be a person of integrity. He have to maintain a level of working, straightforward, objectivity, honesty. Second is independence. Having no interest or control in the company is provide the level of independence. Objectivity. Be objective in giving opinion or report, means without any bias, without any partiality, and with the transparency. Confidentiality. Be confident about the business of the customer. Technical standards. Follow all accounting standards and practices. Competence. Should be professionally competent to perform his duties. So, these elements are expected as the professional ethics from the side of an auditor. And C Act 49 refer the professional ethics for an auditor. And the standards on auditing also issued for the auditor. The ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, was set up in 1949 to regulate the profession of CAs in India. Since its establishment, the institute has taken numerous steps to ensure that its members discharge their duties with due professional care, competency, sincerity, and with the objectivity. One of the steps is the establishment of the Auditing Practices Committee or the Standards on Auditing or Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, as it is now known, in September 1982. One of the main objectives of the board is to issue standards on auditing. Accordingly, the board issues standards on auditing practices and auditing and assurance standard under the authority of the council. So, in simplest possible term, standards on auditing represent a codification of the best practice of the profession which are already exist. Auditing standards help the members in proper and optimum discharge of their profession duties. Standards on auditing also promote uniformity in the practice as also comparability. So, standards on auditing are the rules and regulation issued by the supreme body of accounting in India, that is ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, to promote uniformity in practice as also comparability and help the members in proper and optimum discharge of their professional duties. It is expected from all the auditors that they have to comply with the standards on auditing while they are going to perform their audit assignment duty. Standards on auditing includes the basic principles governing an audit. Means, what are the basic principles that have to be followed by our auditor when he is going to conduct an audit? That is integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, competency, proper skills, audit evidence, work performed by the other, documentation, reporting. These expected from each type of auditor when he is going to perform his audit assignment. ICAI is the highest accounting body in the country, and the ASB, Accounting Standard Board, is a committee of the ICAI. But to ensure maximum transparency and independence, the ASB is completely independent body and issues accounting standards. Actually, the related accounting standard is very much necessary to be followed by the business concern, and whether the business concern is complies with the or following the accounting standard or not, it is the duty to examine during the audit assignment by the auditor. The Accounting Standard Board formulates all the accounting standards for the Indian companies. This process is fully transparent, very thorough, and completely independent of any government involvement. While framing the standards, the Accounting Standard Board will try and incorporate the international financial reporting standards and its principles in the Indian standards. While India does not plan to adopt the IFRS, this process will help the convergence of the two standards. So the Accounting Standard Board will modify the IFRS to suit the laws, customs, and common uses in the country. The Accounting Standard Board is composed of various members. There are representatives of industries like FICCI and ASSOCHAM. There are also certain government officials, a few academics, and regulators from the various departments. The idea is to make the Accounting Standard Board as inclusive and representative as possible. ICAI issued standards on practice for the compliance of auditor while they are going to conduct his audit assignment. Let me talk about the process to formulate the standards on auditing. The Auditing and Assurance Standard Board of the Institute formulates the auditing standards broadly in some steps. Let us start. The first is area. The Auditing and Assurance Standards Board identifies the area where auditing standards need to be formulated and the priority in regard to their selection. So the first step is to select the area in which area the standards and or auditing is to be formulated. Preparation. Second step. In the preparation of the auditing standards, the board is normally assisted by study groups comprising of a cross section of members of the institute. They prepare the exposure draft. So the next step is exposure draft. On the basis of the work of the study groups and exposure draft of the proposed auditing standard in prepared by the board and issued for comments of the members. So at first, after selecting the area in the preparation of formulating standards on auditing, exposure draft is prepared by the study groups and issued for comments of the members. Then it will become final draft. After taking into the comments received and draft of the proposed auditing standard is finalized by the board and submitted to the council of the institute as final draft. Next step, standards on auditing. The council considers the final draft of the proposed auditing standards and, if necessary, modify it or the same in consultation with the board. The standards on auditing is then issued under the authority of the council. So, while formulating the standards on auditing, the board also take into consideration the applicable laws, customs, uses, and business environment in the country prevailing. So, with the step of area preparation, exposure draft, final draft, and finally the standard on auditing will issue. And to issue or formulate the standards on auditing, it is the responsibility, is the duty of board to take into consideration the applicable laws in the industry, to applicable or customs and traditions in the industry, and uses and business environment in a country. ICAI has issued from time to time many guidance notes on matters of accounting and auditing. They have been issued with a view to securing compliance by auditors. They are issued to provide guidance to auditors in certain accounting or auditing contingency. They are recommendatory in character. Generally accepted accounting practices. Auditing of financial statements seeks to ensure that the financial statements are prepared with due regard to accounting conventions, known as accounting conventions, concepts, or doctrines. These give uniformity in presentation of financial data. Generally accepted accounting practices. Some important concepts in this regard are: first is double entry system of accounting. Then going concern concept. Current assets are valued at their realizable value and fixed assets are valued at cost less depreciation. Third is accrual concept. Income is to be recognized if a right to receive it has occurred irrespective of actual collection of it. Expenses is to be accounted if it has occurred irrespective of actual payment of it. So, GAAP or generally accepted accounting principles provides the elements that should be considered by the accountant or auditor while they are going to audit the books of account, while the accountant is going to prepare the books of accounts. Distinction between capital and revenue expenditure is very much important because it changes the profitability or assets and liability situation of a business concern. Conservatism. All losses, either present or probable, are to be provided. Income is to be recognized only if it is not unreasonable to expect its ultimate recovery at the time of its occurrence. Let me take some knowledge regarding the accounting standards. Accounting standards issued by ICAI, and in Accounting Standard 1, financial statements are assumed to be prepared and presented on the basis of the following assumptions. First is going concern, then consistency, then accrual. First, that the enterprises has neither necessary nor intention to close the operations in foreseeable future. Means in near future the business is not going to end, at least in a short period of 1 year. Consistency. Accounting policy followed in the last year is continued to be followed this year also until specified regarding the change of accounting policy. Accrual. Revenue and expenditure are accounted on due basis irrespective of collection or payment. Accounting standards that are issued by ICAI. Till now, 32 accounting standards are there, formulated by Accounting Standard Board, which was set up on 21st April 1977. In force accounting standards are 31. Notified accounting standards are 29. Let me take the names of some accounting standards with the help of list. AS1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first is disclosure of accounting policies, second is valuation of inventories, third is cash flow statement, and so on. There are 32 accounting standards so far regarding the accounting field. All these have to be examined by the auditor when the auditor is going to conduct his audit assignment, that whether the books of accounts in accordance with these accounting standards as applicable to the particular audit firm. Why are auditing standards is important? Auditing standards are mandatory to be followed by practitioners under the direction issued by the Council of ICAI. Practitioners means chartered accountants who are in practice in India and doing the audit assignment works. Section 143, subsection 9 of Companies Act 2013 requires from every auditor to comply with the auditing standards to maintain the uniformity in auditing practices. If not complied with auditing standards in performing assurance engagement, chartered accountants shall be guilty of professional misconduct under Schedule 2 of the CA Act 1949. So, standards on auditing is very much carefully followed by the auditor while he is conducting his audit work or performing the duty as an auditor for a audit assignment. Let me talk about the international harmonization of standards on auditing. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is a member of the International Federation of Accountants. Therefore, as a matter of policy, the auditing standards issued by ICAI are in harmony with the international standards on auditing. Till date, IAASB of the IFAC has issued 39 engagement standards comprising one standard on quality control, 32 ISAS, 2 international standards on review engagement, 2 international standards on assurance engagement, and 2 international standards on related services. The ICAI has issued 35 auditing standards corresponding to the engagement standard issued by the IAASB of the IFAC, and 3 auditing standards are in the file. So, further, the Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has also approved the following technical drafts or standards on auditing. Preface to the standards on quality control, auditing review, other assurance and related services. Due process of the Auditing and Assurance Standards Board, revised classification and numbering pattern of the auditing and assurance standards, framework for assurance engagements. So, international harmonization of auditing standards is at the conclusion that the standards on auditing of a particular company may be parallel to the international standards on auditing, but not it may be go beyond the international standards on auditing. So it may be said that standards on auditing in harmonization of the international standards on auditing. So regarding the compliance with standards on auditing. While discharging their test functions, it is the duty of the members of the institute to ensure that the standards on auditing are followed in the audit of financial information covered by their audit reports. If for any reason the member is unable to perform an audit in accordance with the generally accepted auditing standards, his report should draw attention to any material departure therefrom, failing which he would be held guilty of professional misconduct under clause 9 of paragraph 1 of the second schedule of CA Act 1949. With the formation of the Auditing Practice Committee in 1982, now known as Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, the Council of the Institute has been issuing a series of statements on auditing, that is called essays. The Auditing and Assurance Standard Board laid down the principles of governing an audit. These principles apply whenever an independent audit is carried out. So the standards on auditing in are the category. First is related services SRS, that is number 4000246999, and second is quality control SQC, that is from number 1299, and auditing standards on auditing, that is number 10022899, and standards on review engagement SRE, that is number from 20022699, and assurance engagement standards, that is number from 30023699. Now, objective and functions of Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. The board is comprised by the council to review and existing the emerging auditing practice world. Means what type of auditing practice is going on worldwide. The review of these systems has been conducted by the AASB to get the update exposure that what is going in the industry worldwide. Second, to formulate engagement standards, standards on quality control, and statement on auditing. This is the duty, this is the function, and this is the objective of AASB. Third is to review and revise the existing standards and statements on auditing. If there is any requirement for the updation of standards on auditing, so this is the duty to update regarding the newer concepts in the field of accounting or auditing. AASB conducted review and revised the existing standards and statements on auditing. AASB require the duty to develop guidance note on issue arising of any standards auditing issue pertaining to any specific industry and revise. To provide guidance note as the explanation at the time of any confusion that is prevailing in specific industry is the duty of AASB. And again, updation in guidance note is also provided by the AASB by reviewing and revising the existing guidance note. If any clarification is required in the standards, then to formulate journal clarification where necessary is the under the ambit of functions of AASB. Even to formulate and issue technical guides, practice manual, studies, and other papers are the under the duty of Auditing and Assurance Standard Board. Let me discuss some standards on auditing. SA 200. This is overall objective of independent audit and conduct of audit as per standards of auditing. SA 2 is effective for audits of financial statements for periods beginning on or after April 1st, 2010. Auditor's responsibility regarding the SA 200 to obtain reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material mismanagement resulting from either due to fraud or error, enabling auditor to express an opinion on whether financial statements are prepared in all material respect as per applicable financial reporting framework. The auditor's responsibility to the objective of independent audit is to report under section 143 subsection 2 to members of company on account examined by him and financial statement to be laid down in annual general meeting. Auditor's responsibility to ensure that his opinion on financial statement is reflected the true and fair view. Again, the objective of independent audit is to state in his report under section 143 subsection 2 whether account examined by him financial statement are give true and fair view. Audit evidence to reduce audit risk to acceptable low level and consider SA 500 as per SA 200. Scope of audit. Area of work for auditor determined by the following factors: requirements of legislation, SA and other guidance by ICAI, terms of engagement of auditor. Terms and engagement can't override scope decided by the legislation or standards on auditors. That is, management cannot restrict scope of auditor's audit function. Next, if scope restricted or threat to independence, in this case, auditor's duty is to communicate to those charged with governance as per SA 260. Requirement of SA 200: professional skepticism. Its auditor's state of mind for alertness to for any indication to possible misstatement due to error or fraud. A critical assessment of audit evidence. Maintain it throughout audit to identify fraud risk factors and evaluate related party transactions. Attitude required: alertness towards info provided to him by client, a questionable mind being alert. Reduces risk of overlooking unusual circumstances, overgeneralizing when drawing conclusion from audit observations, using inappropriate assumptions in determining nature, time, extent of audit procedure and evaluating results, being alert to info providing by the auditee to bringing in doubt, conditions and situations creating doubt. So, SA 200 aspect to be considered while performing audit: ethical requirements, professional skepticism and professional judgment. Let me discuss a little about the SA 220, quality control for an audit of financial statement. Overview of SA 220. The standard deals with the specific responsibilities of the auditor regarding quality control procedures for an audit of financial statement. It also addresses, where applicable, the responsibility of the engagement quality control reviewer. SA 220 also deals with the aspect that relating to leadership responsibility for quality on audits, relevant ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of client relationship, assignment of engagement team, engagement performance. Now, SA 300, planning and audit of financial statement. SA 300 deals with the auditor's responsibility towards planning for an audit of financial statements, and its context is focused more on a recurring audit. This standard also prescribes the additional considerations required for an audit initial audit engagement. Objective. The objective is to plan the audit in accordance with the size and complexity of the entity to perform the audit in an effective manner. Partner and key members of the engagement team are required to be involved in the audit planning through discussion, which will enhance the audit effectiveness and efficiency. SA 299, Joint Audit of Financial Statements revised. To lay down, the objective of this essay is to lay down broad principles for the joint auditors in conducting the joint audit, to provide a uniform approach to the process of joint audit, to identify the different area of work and coverage thereof by a joint auditor, to identify individual responsibility and joint responsibility of the joint auditor in relation to audit. Yes, SA 330, Auditor's responses to assessed risk. Let me discuss about the overview of SA 330. It deals with the auditor's responsibility to design and implement responses to the assessed risk of material misstatement identified in accordance with SA 315. Objective of SA 330, to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about the assessed risk and design, implement appropriate responses of those risks. SA 330 is effective for the audit of financial statement for periods beginning on or after 1st April 2008. SA 450, Evaluation of misstatement identified during the audit. The scope of SA 450 is evaluation of misstatement identified during the audit deals with the auditor's responsibility to evaluate the effect of identified misstatements and incorrect misstatements. SA 700 takes into account the evaluation of uncorrected misstatement for auditors' conclusion. SA 450 is effective for the audit of financial statements for periods beginning on or after 1st April 2010. Now some discussion regarding the international standards on auditing. The international standards on auditing, ISA, are essential guidelines for auditing financial statements. They are developed by the International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, IAASB. These standards ensures auditors follow consistent rules and principles during audit work. ICA enhances transparency, consistency, and quality in auditing. It outlines rules, requirements, and techniques for auditors to gather relevant evidence and report their findings accurately. It covers key auditing areas such as planning, risk assessment, and reporting. The international standards on auditing are widely recognized rules for auditors worldwide. They guide auditors in examining financial statements to ensure accuracy and reliability. These standards maintain the quality and consistency of audits, making financial information trustworthy. International standards on auditing covers various aspects of auditing, including risk assessment, internal controls, gathering evidence, documentation, and reporting. It also deals with specific type of audits such as those for financial statement following international financial reporting standard, that is IFRS, audits for small and medium sized businesses and other specialized areas. Some places legal require auditors to follow legally require auditors to follow ISA, while others choose to do so voluntarily for standardized auditing practices. International standards on auditing structure. The ISA or International Standards on Auditing is organized into several sections. First is introduction. This part explains what the ISA is for and how it's used in auditing. It also clarifies the role and duties of the auditors. Objective and principles. Here the goals and basic rules of auditing are outlined. It covers things like honesty, confidentiality, expertise, and professionalism. General principles and duties. This section lay out the overarching rules that auditors must stick to during the audit process. These are the sections in infrastructure of the standards in which they are organized. So the first 3 points are introduction, objectives and principles, and third is general principles and duties. Next is audit process. It gives step-by-step guidance and how audit should be carried out. This includes planning, evaluating internal controls, assessing risk, gathering evidence, and documenting the audit. The next part is using others. This explains how auditors should handle the work of internal and external auditor during the audit process. He may rely upon them or go with test checking at least also. Conclusions and reporting section. Here the standards for writing up audit reports are detailed, covering what should be included and how it should be presented. The last section is specialized area. This part talks about specific types of audits like those for financial statements following certain frameworks, audits for small and medium sized businesses, and other specialized cases. So this is all about international standards on auditing and organized structure of the international standards on auditing in various sections. Okay, thank you very much for listening carefully. Thank you.